23 News reporter Jorge Rodas joins us live by the Kishwaukee with why investigators say this is such a tough case to solve. George.
Yeah, Mike, we're going to use this stick right here to try to demonstrate some of the problems investigators are experiencing in this investigation. As you can see, when you touch the bottom of the Kishwaukee River, a lot of muck comes up. The Winnebago County Sheriff's Department says they think it's more than one person going around doing the robberies because the things they're stealing are rather heavy. Hey, Mike and Whitney, we're here on the southern entrance of the Belvedere Chrysler plant, and you can see the Jeep that's over my shoulder. That's a Jeep Patriot. That's one of the two models that Chrysler just announced it will be discontinuing in a couple of years. Now, probably the biggest thing you'll notice is here along the west side of the terminal. They're going to build onto the structure and extend it outward to where there's actually a parking lot right now. Marchers went home just moments ago, the weather playing a factor in their march today, but their message isn't going away. They were ready to formally file an intent to strike here at the district office, but they were locked out. Now, there's a line that goes along Front Street here in Byron. That's the city's main line. No, that's not where the problem is. The problem are the lateral lines that feed to the main line here along Market Street. Breweries like Pig Mines already have a line of beers that they sell, so they're not going to be as affected by the shutdown as up-and-comers are. Like a company that brews this beer. You can't see who they are because they don't have a label. They don't have a label because the TTB is behind because of the shutdown. Yeah, Mike and Whitney, right now, I'd say in the last 5 minutes or so, the rain started picking up here in Rockford's southwest side. It is coming down very hard. It came down earlier. I'm going to pull away. As you can see, there is a tree branch in that front yard of the home here at 1219 Island Avenue. That branch brought down a power line, and our photographer noticed that it was arcing, so that line seems to still be on at this point. So a very dangerous situation here. The work begins outside of Fred Wagner's Freeport home after a quick but powerful storm swept through the state line this morning.
That's the way it goes. The phone's out, the cable's out. Power just flickered once because when that's underground, so we're okay there. But you deal with what you have to deal with.
All throughout the Pretzel City were signs of the damaging winds and hail. Trees on front lawns, power lines down.
The winds came quick, went through quick, and left a big mess. It's going to take a while to clean up.
I get along just fine without the severe weather. We'll need rain when we need it, but I don't need storms.
Perhaps the most shocking proof of the storm's intensity was here at this Ivy Corp storage facility. The roof almost peeled off, leaving a massive mess for crews below.
I've never seen anything like that before. Well, waking up, getting a phone call saying, hey, your building's missing.
One look inside of the building here and you can see just how extensive the damage is. You look up at the roof, it is completely gone on one side of the building, folding onto itself. And now what the company has to do is contact all the owners of each individual vehicle here to tell them what happened.
It's a large building, so hopefully we can get it fixed in a reasonable amount of time.
It's too early to amount damage totals, but one thing is clear. When Mother Nature gets mad, she makes sure everyone knows. In Freeport, Jorge Rodas, 23 News.
No, we don't have the resources to keep up with those crimes.
Stevenson County Sheriff's investigator Don Wiesel says many of the cybercrime cases he deals with go unsolved.
It's irritating because, a lot of times we're helpless to do stuff.
The Sheriff's Department deals with up to 10 cyber cases a month. And although departments throughout the country are dedicating staff to investigate cybercrime, efforts oftentimes end up with no positive outcome.
Cybercrime happens anywhere and from anybody.
P.J. Way is the Director of Information Technology at Rockford University. He says cyber criminals are getting more and more sophisticated over time, leaving police agencies searching for ghosts in the internet abyss.
I think it's going to continue to grow until more agencies get better equipped.
The latest numbers from the Internet Crime Complaint Center show in 2012 there were almost 300,000 reported cases of internet crime and more than $500 million in losses reported.
Probably there's a greater number of actual attacks or exposure than what is being reported.
But for now, Sergeant Wiesel says all he can do is help victims the best he can.
It's just very difficult to solve.
Now, Way says usually it takes the FBI and other researchers a couple years before they release cybercrime statistics, which is why it's hard to track down totals from last year or even this year. So we'll have to wait a little while before we can see those.
We are figure eight racing!
Life has been one long race for Tom Schneider, and while most of the time he's driven solo, he's running his final laps as a newlywed.
Yeah, I thought she was loud and obnoxious. It's great to have a woman stand by me like she does.
Thomas, you may kiss the bride.
Tom married the love of his life, Christine, at home while on hospice. That's because doctors said chemotherapy wouldn't help him anymore. He was diagnosed with advanced colon cancer last summer, a disease he knows he will not survive.
I will cherish every moment that I've had with him and that I will continue to have until I lose him.
For the championship is close!
Tom's used to living by the seat of his pants.
If I win a race this year,
Today, we find him sitting on the couch surrounded by family and friends, like longtime track rival DJ Smith, who says Tom has taught him a lot.
Someone gets in an incident on the track and practice night, this guy's sitting in the stands, he's jumping over the fence to go see if they're all right. And that's with everybody. He's one heck of a guy.
Tom Schneider, another figure eight championship!
Tom is a 6-time figure eight champion at the Rockford Speedway. It's a legacy his son Nick hopes to carry on.
I'm just hoping to make my dad proud. I just feel like me and him have so much in common. We think alike, we do almost everything the same.
My dad's had numerous different nicknames. To me, my dad's always been my hero. That's my name.
For your dad?
For my dad.
The greatest struggle is perhaps not knowing how much time he has left.
Forward.
But it's clear Tom wants to finish strong.
Just trying to finish.
Trying to finish the big race,
Yeah.
Tom has 2 last wishes. One for the Speedway to add him to their Walk of Fame. The Speedway says they're considering that, but there's no guarantee a decision will be made soon. The last wish, to be driven around the figure eight track one last time. Chris Weese's battle is far from the front lines. Instead, every day appears to be a mental fight, one he hopes could end thanks to a new friendship.
I almost still can't believe this actually happened, honestly. And this is going to be a big change in my life.
Weese is an Army veteran who served 2 tours of duty in Iraq. Since returning home, he's suffered from PTSD and says he's not the man he used to be.
First time I came back overseas, I didn't want to get out my house.
Weese struggles with severe anxiety and finds it almost unbearable to do things most of us take for granted. Last year, he met a fellow veteran who promised to get his life back on track, a Marine named Chris Marone, who also struggles with PTSD.
Seeing him, kind of saw myself and where he is now. You know, I used to be at that point with my PTSD, and have come a long way. And I've come a long way because of Diesel and because Service Dog.
I haven't picked up a Tango yet.
When the two met, the Army vet's PTSD was kicking in, and the Marine did the only thing he knew to do.
And I, grabbed Diesel's leash and handed it over to him.
I saw the change, and even she saw the change of me. Just for that one day. I haven't felt that for a long time, honestly.
These are our puppies here that we're going to be hopefully pairing up with our veterans.
That encounter convinced Chris Marone to create Military Amigos, a group that gives service dogs to veterans with PTSD.
Chris says it usually costs a vet $30,000 to get a service dog, but Chris is giving them one for free, and he's taking care of all the training.
Any veteran who has PTSD deserves his chance, deserves to have that normalcy and feel like they're a normal human being.
It's amazing. Can't really describe it. Being able to change somebody's life like that. I knew we were going to help him from the first time we met him in Chicago. So as soon as I saw how he reacted to Diesel, I looked at him, I said, they got to be the first ones.
Weese now has a new buddy, and although it'll be many months before little Kilo will be a certified service dog, Chris says the animal is more than just a pet. He's a friend.
I'm just looking forward for a better life and just have fun.
Daddy's got a puppy.
Marone says Military Amigos is close to officially getting its nonprofit designation, and he'll be able to pair dogs with vets for free by accepting donations and doing the training himself in-house. Now, Weesey says he's been waiting to get a dog for years, and meeting military amigos was, for him, a blessing. Then some are calling electronic cigarettes candy-flavored poisons. Tonight, what's being done to make sure our kids don't get hooked.
On the air, you're watching the next generation of news. The 23 News Update at 10 starts now.
Sheriff Myers also said Deputy James Abadi followed protocol and, quote, did everything right in last night's shooting on Rockford's far west side. Meanwhile, one of the suspects from this incident is still on the loose. Deputies are looking for 23-year-old Matt Lawrence. Investigators say he's one of the men who jumped out of the back seat of an SUV and ran from police. Well, new numbers show the jobless rate is falling in Rockford. The unemployment office says it's down almost 1% from last February. The next one starts April 30th and runs through June 18th. To apply, go to WIFR.com for a link. Apps on our phone are the best way to play games, check sports scores, or the weather. And one group making its debut in Rockford is looking to create some apps for city innovations.